Welcome to episode 14 of the Hike or Die Outdoor Adventure Podcast. I'm here with my peak bagging friend Craig. How are you, mate?
Hey, mate, good.
It has been a long time, Craig, since we have hit the microphones. Do you think people are worried? Do you think that they thought after the magical 13th episode that we'd disappeared forever?
It's possible.
Let's prove them wrong right now. Come on, let's hold hands and play the music. Go. G'day guys, how you going? I'm just getting quizzed by Craig as to what peak bagging is.
Yes, what is it?
It's nothing bad, man. It means that you've bagged a peak. You've climbed a mountain.
Ah, right.
Yeah, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah, it's the highest mountain you've ever climbed, I would assume.
It was insane, and yeah, I'm sure it was, mate. That was great.
Yeah, cool. All right, we've skipped ahead a bit, guys. It has been a long time. We haven't just been sitting around binge watching Game of Thrones. We have actually been on a massive adventure, which we will go into great detail with you today. But first, thank you ever so much to our podcast sponsors, Rios Gear, fantastic floating polarized sunglasses that we both used on our last trip, and I must say, we looked pretty cool. Caribbean.com, makers of fine backpacks and other equipment. Again, took a bit of their gear on this trip. That was pretty cool. And at the moment, I'm also testing a really small, how would you say? It's like a trail runner's backpack. So it's a 1.5 litre hydration pack. And it's good. Moving right along, Topo Maps Plus. Go deeper into the backcountry. We also used this app on our trip, and it was pretty cool. Even without cell phone coverage, we were still able to tap into the GPS sent on our phone and follow where we were at each day. And last but not least, Bluey Merino, which pretty much, I know it covered me head to toe along the trip. But thank you very much to the sponsors. It's trips like that where I really do feel grateful for what they do for us, because we really get kitted out, and it makes for a very comfortable trip.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It was a great test for some of the gear, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. There's some special mentions in there as well. I would say we took the Grail GeoPress on its maiden voyage. It was actually very, very recently released, and that was pretty cool. We also took that to the highest mountain in Tasmania.
That's a good upgrade, that, eh?
Yeah, it is a good upgrade. And the other thing we tried out for the first time, well, technically not the first time, but the first multi-day trip, was the Zen Bivy sleeping systems, which...
that was a nice upgrade too.
Yeah, that was a nice upgrade too. So thank you to all of those guys who made such a fantastic trip possible for us in a lot of comfort. All right, let's just keep rolling on the Tassie trip, mate, because unless you wanted to tell me how you've been. How have you been? What's new?
Mate, I'm good. It's hard to top, walking the hills of Tasmania.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited to get to it, but
kids have been dragging me out a lot. We've been on the beach a fair bit, and getting a bit in the swag as well. So I have been outdoors a bit, but
that's good.
Nothing quite to the extremes.
No.
Last time I saw you?
Yeah, there's always a bit of a, I wouldn't call it a downer, but I'd say you get back off an epic trip like that, and it's hard to make other things kind of meet that. Yeah, you've got to put it into perspective, though. It's not something that you can do all the time, so you need to kind of remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I worked on a couple of little plans. I think this week it started to hit me that I haven't really going on a bit of a trip, so I've made some plans for that now because I think it was a little bit of a downer coming back and having nothing on the horizon for a few weeks there.
Yeah, it's something that I have no plans to go anywhere, but I got places that I wouldn't mind going. A friend of the HikeordieTV community, Josh, has been hassling me about doing a trip, which I'm pretty keen on.
Mm-hmm.
Might wait till it gets a bit colder for that because I think water's going to be scarce, and it's just going to be kind of climbing through bush and stuff like that. So the colder the better.
Cool.
What else was I going to tell you about? I'm still running. I have a race coming up in 2 weeks now, and that's 15k trail run, and I think I'm going to go okay. I ran 15k 2 weeks ago and absolutely crashed and burned, just completely. Yeah.
Competitive or just a...
No, just a training run.
Yeah.
And as I was running, I was thinking, why am I feeling so bad? And I remembered that I skipped lunch and kind of just had a couple of handfuls of cashews. And
It's not because you shaved your beard off, is it?
no, it was before I shaved the beard off.
Okay.
If it was the day after, I'd know it was that. So anyway, I think what I put it down to is that I just literally didn't have any food in my stomach for most of the day, and then I got home and went out on this run, and I got to 11.5 Ks and just totally bombed out and had to walk up this big hill, and then got to 13 Ks and just started getting leg cramps in my calves. It was just all going pear-shaped, and I thought it kind of worried me because it was only 2 weeks ago. But on Monday, I ran my fastest ever 15 and felt $1 million. But what I did was obviously I made sure I ate lunch that day. But I also took one of those power gel things, which have you ever seen them?
Not sure.
Oh, they're just like a little, I can't think of a better word than kind of sachet or whatever. You just tear the top off and suck the gel down and then scull some water. It's basically just pure energy, carbs and stuff, and you absorb it pretty quickly. I usually steer clear of things like that, but I took that at around the 8 kilometre mark, so just over halfway, because I figured it would probably take between 10 to 20 minutes to actually be usable for the body. And then I just blasted through. Did it in 1 hour, 30 minutes and 6 seconds, or 6 seconds off cracking 1.5.
Yeah, right.
So I was really happy with that. And so I've got that run coming up in 2 weeks. And then, so this guy was meant to run it with me, and he's pulled out. He said, "Oh, it's okay. We'll run together the following weekend." And I said, "Yeah, that's fine, except I'm already running this other one." So now I'm doing this climb for cancer, which is 37 floors.
Oh, really?
Of a building in the city.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that should be cool. Yeah, so it seems like I'm just doing a lot of that. I also took the boys on their first trail run, my 2 oldest boys. Have a guess did you see the Facebook post? Do you already know the answer to this?
Mate, I actually didn't study it, so yeah, give me the...
Have a guess how far they ran.
You told
First run ever.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I did see it, but I can't remember.
Do you want to have a guess?
Oh, kids, I don't know, 4 or 5 Ks.
Yeah, it was 4 Ks.
Yeah, really?
And they didn't stop.
Like non-stop running?
Yeah, they
Mate,
ran
that's
4 Ks. I said, let's try and do 3. And we got to 3, and I said, how are you feeling? And they said, oh, not too bad. And I said, well, let's go for 4.
Yeah.
And so we did 4. It was absolutely incredible. I was blown away.
Yeah, that's good. Great effort.
Yeah, and they loved it. We saw a couple of wallabies and stuff jumping around. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, that's all I've been doing.
Did they want to do that? Did you push them into it?
No, they've been bugging me.
Since you've been doing it?
I guess so. There was this running club at their school over Tuesday and Thursday morning. If they get there early, they're allowed to run
cool.
around the oval in this running club. And I said to them, oh, you come out on the trail with me.
Mm.
And I have to say, and we will get to this, but a huge catalyst was that Wolfpack film that we watched at the film festival.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It was just massive. I watched that film and just thought, I'm doing that next weekend.
Yeah.
I just thought, why aren't I already doing that?
Yeah.
I'll get to that later, guys. Don't.
That was definitely
stress, but yeah,
one of the memorable ones, eh?
Yeah, it was by far one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, on that note, initially the reason for going to Tasmania was to attend the Cradle Mountain Film Festival. I had a cut-down version of my documentary, or let's call it our documentary, because Craig spent so much time working on it as well. And so we flew down, on a Friday, and went to the opening night, Friday night, and just to paint this picture, off to the side of the road, there's these kind of rolling grass plains and mountains in the background, and then there's these 3 yurts in the middle of this field with all these kind of, there's a couple of twisted, gnarly trees around too, wasn't there?
Yeah.
A couple of braziers going.
Yeah.
And a little soup tent. One of the yurts was a bar. Well, it sold alcohol. Another one was just kind of like a chill out one, but then it became the biggest tent on the closing night, didn't it?
Yeah, the music and activities.
Yeah, the music, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one was where they were playing films. Very well organised, absolutely fantastic, and what I'd probably call unique event just because of how it's staged. So yeah, big thanks to Anna for contacting me and encouraging us to come down and just putting on a fantastic show. I think Ando was her husband. Together they run, is it Cradle Mountain Canyons or Tasmania Canyoning? I feel really bad now because I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, they run a canyoning company together, and this is something they do each year as well. And yeah, they were just fantastic.
It was well organised. It's set in the hills there, in the outdoors essentially, embracing the Tasmanian weather.
Yeah, that's true too, Craig. That's a really good point. On walking there, you're walking through a bit of rain or drizzle or a brisk breeze, and then a wombat runs across in front of you on the path.
Yeah.
So
Bit
it was
fog around. Yeah,
it was cool.
Fire in the barrels. It was awesome.
Yeah, we stayed at accommodation, which was probably 600 meters away.
Yeah, it's good.
Less than a kilometre. And we just walked down the road back and forth. But I think that added to it as well. I don't know. It was just, if we had have just gone for the film festival and turned around and come home, I would not have been disappointed. One bit. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but being a bit of an outsider to arrive in Tassie and then actually do, like, there was a night where we spent. So we watched some films indoors in a hotel, and it was great watching those films. But we got such an experience being out in that field, hey?
That's right. Yeah, so they were also using a conference room in a local hotel, Cradle Mountain Hotel, where they could cater for bigger groups. And on the Saturday night, they had the big kind of finale night, and that was what was that called? That was the
Mountain Film Festival?
Mountain Film Festival. That's right. Thanks. Yeah. So the Saturday night they played the full Mountain Film Festival.
That was
and
great.
one of the organisers from the States actually flew out to introduce that, which was pretty cool. But like Craig said, the rest of it was just in this field in the yurts, and I don't know, it was just so much fun.
So all the films were based around a lot of adventure style sort of filmmaking and documentaries, and there was some fantastic Australian ones and some stuff from overseas that was incredible.
Yep.
And yeah, some of it was edge of your seat stuff, and then some of it was really emotional stuff. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, there's definitely a good cross section, and I mean not just in the Mountain Film Festival on the Saturday night, that was a good cross section. But if you look at the entire film festival, it was quite good. Even if you take into consideration on the Sunday, the film festival was played in. They had short films playing in these little huts along this hiking trail, and that was the day that we started our 6-day overland track hike. So we stopped into a couple of the huts and watched these films. And Craig, do you remember that first hut we stopped in, and there was that guy running?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Was he running a marathon a day for 10 days or something?
Yeah.
I don't remember. All I remember was by about day 2, his nipples were bleeding so profusely.
Yeah.
It was pouring down, and he wasn't taping him up. He's a mad dog. It was basically this unfit. Was he Irish or Scottish? Irish.
Yeah, I think so.
Unfit Irish guy decides he wanted to do something for charity, and he just runs. I'm sure it was a marathon a day for some ridiculous week or something.
He was laughing it up the whole time. He was really, not cut out for it.
But he was not cut out for it.
He was really likable though. I was a bit concerned that you'd think he was hard to like, but no, you really got into the character. I really liked it.
Yeah. He was. Like, at the start, I was thinking, this is not, mate. This is not funny. This is not funny. Don't do that to yourself.
But it was a crazy concept.
But it didn't it didn't take long to realise that he was just He's just this hopeless guy who
I think it was 7 marathons in a row, or was it more than? It might have been 10. Yeah,
I don't know.
Might have been 10 days.
I think it was
running
10 days of a marathon a day,
and his feet looked horrible.
Oh mate, oh yeah, he is not, and running through bitter cold just in a pair of shorts.
I don't know how he did that.
He hardly had a shirt on, and his nipples are bleeding down his chest. It was wrong. I found it hard to watch just because of that. I felt my own nipples tingling when I was watching it, thinking, "Oh, put some Band-Aids on, mate." Oh,
yeah, it was a bit wrong.
I'm gonna have to try and find out what that was called. It was Sean something or something, but it was actually really good. A couple of really good laughing moments, and he actually did a fantastic job in the end.
Yeah. Now, the reason we're talking about films, and there was a couple I'd really like to mention, but I guess I'd like to shout out to how your film, Tom, was really well received, and this trip, being there where it was shot, really brought it to life for me. So, yeah, I got a lot out of that, man. Just sitting in that hut and watching it, with strangers, and then going and doing the track. So, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I'll throw it back at you anyway. Thanks for all your hard work getting it there with the audio stuff. It's been a bit of a slog, I know.
No, it was great fun. I've enjoyed it.
But it was quite surreal sitting there watching it. And on the Saturday, I had to give a talk on the film, which was interesting concept when you think of giving a talk about a film that nobody had seen yet. So I had to take a bit of an angle where I was almost explaining the film to them, and then explaining the logistical nightmares behind filming, 7 days while you're hiking. But I was really happy with that. I don't think there's much I would have changed, mate. I think I'd.
Why don't you tell some of these guys might know, but why don't you tell these guys what it was about your film that we went down there?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I talk about. I try not to talk about it too much on the podcast, and I don't like repeating myself. But I had a pretty unique opportunity to follow 7 leukemia survivors it was roughly about a 75-kilometre hike, and film their journey. And it took about 1.5 years to put that together into a full-length documentary. And so that's what it's about, the highs and lows, and just watching that team struggle with mental and physical kind of demons along the way.
And that's what I'm saying, that after then going and doing it myself, and I got real appreciation for those guys with their limitations.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I keep forgetting that you
I've been working
saw
on
the
it
film before you
but I hadn't
seen the hike.
done those long days that we did, and it was it was cool.
Yeah. It was funny for me to go back again. That's the 3rd time I've done that track, and so I'm doing it again after I filmed the previous time, and it was really, in a way, it was kind of strange being back there without them, because we spent so much time together. But it was good having you there, because I do remember back to the first time I told you I was going to Tasmania, and you said, "Oh, I get the feeling that you want to do this by yourself, but I'll ask anyway." And I said, "Yeah, sorry, man, I've got to do this solo. I just have to do it."
Crazy.
And I always felt guilty for turning you down, mate.
No.
But I got to drag you down there finally.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah, it was, I'll never forget that trip. It was just some of the best times, some of the funniest things.
Yeah. No, Tassie's an amazing place, and to get to, just fly in there and see it's just this country town set amongst this rugged landscape and wilderness, and then it was like alpine sort of conditions in parts, and I really loved it.
Yeah.
We don't get that up here.
No, not to that extent. So yeah, we met some amazing people down there, directors, adventurers, and I don't want to kind of promise anything that doesn't come to fruition, but I can tell you that we have some solid guests, absolutely solid guests, who are really keen to come on the podcast and talk to you guys about some of the ridiculous things they do in their spare time. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to move on. We will get back to the... I might as well tell you guys now. On the trip, we did a whole bunch of small snippets of recordings. We sometimes we were together and we'd have a bit of a chat. Sometimes we were walking or taking a lunch break. Sometimes we're doing a bit of a dialogue to our own GoPros. So the idea is, and we haven't gone back and reviewed this quite deliberately, but the idea is we'll cut to that in a minute and we'll go ahead and listen to it all as well. And then we'll come back at the end and touch base with you guys after that. But I'm not going to jump there that quickly because we still have a lot to cover, Craig.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, we have. I wanted to say, you remember Jim Denham? He was the guy that was on a massive weight loss journey.
Photographer.
That's right, Jim Denham Photography, beautiful landscape photography.
Yeah.
We spoke about him many episodes ago, and apologies for not remembering exactly which one. But he had a weight loss goal, and when he said when he got to a certain weight, he was allowed to buy a kayak. And this goal has been, it's not the end of his goal, like he's continuing to lose weight, but it was one of his goals. So he lost 45 kilos,
Jeez.
which is a lot. And he did it about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. He sent us a message on Instagram, I think it was, and said, check this out. And he sent some photos, and he's already been out on it. And he's absolutely stoked.
No, that's great news.
And he's half the man he was. Like, he's in a good way. He's really shredding now. And mate, just keep it up. We do watch your progress, and it just makes me happy to think that you're still trucking along. So congrats, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Anyone else who remembers that episode, he's still going. So good on you, Jim. A guy goes by the handle of Chief60 on YouTube asked a really interesting question, and I wasn't sure. You've got no idea the sort of things that go on YouTube. Oh, you probably do. Read the comments on any video. Like, people are just out to stir up shit. But I'm not saying that's what this guy did. It's quite the opposite. He made a comment and said, this is about the Cradle water filter. It's the water filter that we use, and there was a full gear review that Craig and I filmed about it, and it gets tons and tons of views. What are we up to? Almost 28,000 views it's had. It just, for some reason, it's really popular. Anyway, he asked a question, and it was such a good question that I did a fair bit of research. I answered him as well as I could, and then I thought, this is a question I wouldn't mind bringing to the table in the podcast, I guess just to kind of spread that knowledge. His question was, I've seen comments using the word filter and purifier in reference to this product. Which one is it really? A purifier or a filter? I want a purifier. So the answer to that is not as simple as you think, but in some ways it's actually really simple. The short answer would be it's both. Because if you go to the definition of filter, I'm just on dictionary.com here, any substance as cloth, paper, porous porcelain, or a layer of charcoal or sand through which liquid or gas is passed to remove suspended impurities or to recover solids. So that is a process in which you're removing particles. Most of the time when we talk about filtering, I guess we're thinking about removal of big particles. So you put dirty water in, it removes all of the big particles, and then clear water comes out, but you still can't drink it. That's some people's perception. This product, and there are many other products like this, actually, that's not true. What I'm saying is there's products like the Life Straw, which are similar in that you are extracting water through a filtration system. At the end of the filtration, it is purified. So the answer to his question was actually it's both. It's a filtration system which purifies your water, because the definition of purify is to make pure free from anything that debases, pollutes, adulterates, or contaminates. So yeah, in a nutshell, it's both. It's using filtration to purify. Is that kind of clear?
Yeah, I mean, we're mostly worried about bacteria getting through that filter.
Absolutely. But sometimes in order to do that, you have to take out the solids as well, because the bacteria can reside within solids. So say if you had a cluster of a couple of grains of dirt, there could be bacteria within those. So the filter stops that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it surprised me to learn that a SteriPen, even though it's capable of purifying, if your water is full of a lot of crap in there, it's not as effective because
it's not effective.
It's not effective because
at all,
the bacteria can hide behind the little particles.
Correct, yeah. If the UV light, so the SteriPen's a UV light device which sterilizes, and I use that term not like you think. When I say sterilize, I mean it makes the bacteria unable to reproduce. So you still ingest live bacteria, but they cannot have babies. So if you put that in the ultraviolet light in dirty water, muddy water, the ultraviolet light is not shining on every particle of water. Therefore, it's not purified.
Yeah.
Hence the reason we used to filter and then purify with the SteriPen in the good old days. Still a fantastic product. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting, his question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
It made me double check myself and go back and do a bit more research on the Grail website as well, just to make sure that I was on the money. And it definitely, they do use the term filter because it takes out microplastics, sediments, silt, chemicals, chlorine, benzene, chloroform, heavy metals. I don't know why you'd want to take heavy metal out of anything, just to be clear. That was a joke, Craig. Lead, arsenic, chromium.
Rock on.
But it also removes viruses, bacteria, Giardia, salmonella, dysentery. So in the process of filtering, it purifies. That's what I should have just said at the start and saved you guys 10 minutes. Okay?
No, that's a good question, actually. And I remember seeing a lot of filters and not realising that there were some that purified as well, because it's got something to do with the type of filter that allows only allows such small particles through.
That's right. Yeah,
it's like
and also
0.005 or something.
Yeah, and then there's also this crazy thing where the Grail has, I think it's something like silver. I think it's got where is it? I'm going to bastardize this. I always say these stupid things without the information in front of me. I'm sure from memory that it has silver and some carbon. It definitely has carbon because you have to give it a rinse a couple of times before your first use. But I'm sure it's got something like silver in there, and things stick to that, like they're attracted to that. I'm not magnetized would not be correct, but if you know what I mean, like they're drawn to those elements, so they actually stick in the filter, not just because of the microscopic pores, but just because of what the materials are that sit within that filter as well. I find it quite interesting, but I'm no scientist, so.
But it seems to be pretty peace of mind, which is a good bit of gear.
Oh yeah, man, I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah,
I want for nothing more. So yeah, thanks Chief 60. Good on you, mate. He actually came back and said, thanks so much for the clarification. It's helped me make future decisions on sources for drinking water products. Yeah. So yeah, appreciate that. That wasn't just a troll out to get me.
Yeah, totally.
I thought when I was responding, I thought, oh, here we go. This guy's a biologist or something, and he's going to shred me once I give my layman's answer to him. But it didn't. Where am I? my notes. We're looking good. Oh, this is a weird one. This is a public service announcement. I don't know if you've noticed. Tell me if you've noticed this, Craig. I don't spend much time on Facebook, but when I flick through, there's been a ton of ads pop up for me for these fake Salomon shoe products, these ads.
Fake shoes?
Well, they have pictures of Salomon shoes, and then the company name is some just weird kind of thing, and then you kind of click through, and it doesn't take much to realise that they're just completely ripping off Salomon.
Yeah, I've seen those shoes. I don't know if I've seen it on Facebook, but yeah, they're pretty cheap. And
yeah, right.
They look the same, hey?
Oh, they're the same. Now, I can't speak for what's actually happening, whether they've just ripped it off or whether it is the company that's making the Salomon shoes chucking them out the back door. And I couldn't say. But what I am saying is I'd be steering clear of them. Well, for me, it's for two reasons. For one, I don't want a crap pair of shoes that fall apart because they're fake. And two, I like to support companies that make good products. I actually sent them a message on Facebook and with some screenshots because they were not only were the ads coming up, but they were coming up multiple times in the feed with a different business name. It's a total scam. And I read through some of the comments and dudes are going, oh, I've been waiting for 6 weeks for mine. I'm thinking,
still waiting.
Okay, enjoy those air shoes.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd mention it because it's probably, especially when we're all so conscious of money and you see, oh, wow, they must be seconds or last year's models or whatever, but I don't think it's that. From the response I got from Salomon, I think they're onto it, like their legal team's onto it.
Is this our time to start talking about shoes, Tom?
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. You mean the shoe conversation?
The shoe conversation.
No, you can't. You have to we'll talk about that at the end.
I'm sure we will, man.
Yeah.
I got a bit to say. Solomon's would be happy to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about all things hiking. That was something that's come to my attention recently, and I thought it might be worth sharing.
Yeah, cool.
And I always like to get a gauge of how a big company like that operates as well. And they were so grateful and polite and appreciative with their response that I really got a good feel for those guys and thought, because just to be clear, I wear their stuff 5-6 days a week. I'm wearing their shoes, and I paid for them with my own money. We're not sponsored by them. They weren't sent to me for free, but they're just kick ass. So credit where credit's due.
100%.
Yeah. Hey, what do you reckon it's time for now, Craig?
I'm hoping it's time for Books with Tom.
It certainly is. We got a major problem with this segment name now. Jodes said, Jodes, friend of the podcast, said something different when I threw the film in. He didn't mind that. So if Jodes is happy, well, I'm happy.
Okay. Yeah.
And but I've got another damn film to mention. So we need to come up with a new segment name.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, especially for new people who listen to the podcast, and we call it Books with Tom, and then I talk about a film or something else.
And I got a problem too.
Oh no!
I read a book.
Yeah, it's a real problem. I'm assuming it's the same book that I read.
No.
Did you read Thylacine?
Yes. So I read 2 books.
I don't believe it. I guess it has been 2 months.
I thought I'd push the limits.
I'm so glad that I read 2 books because I'd feel silly if you read more books than me. I've got 2 books on the go at the moment. Well, why don't we start at thylacine? Because what happened was I read that book and I went straight on to the other book that I purchased in Tasmania. And just to be clear, thylacine is is it the species name or the scientific name for the Tasmanian tiger?
Yeah.
And so it's a book about that. What's the full? You've got it there, haven't you, Craig? It's called The Tragic Tale of the Tasmanian Tiger by David Owen.
That's it.
This book blew my mind. But I had another book from Tasmania and I started reading that, and at the same time as it blew my mind, it actually pretty much depressed me. I was just so disgusted with humankind, and then I went on to read this other book about Tasmania, which was talking about how horrible the place was when it was first settled, and I actually had to put that book down and switch to another book. I'm reading a book about Nepal now, which I'll have finished by next time. Just something a bit more lighthearted, because I just, the thylacine book was so heavy, man. Did you find it heavy?
Yeah, it's a bit depressing in parts of
it's just
the history.
It's horrific.
And you kind of look at some of the outcomes and you go, wow, how could we let that happen? But I guess people weren't so connected as we are these days. I guess they didn't quite know what was happening on a larger scale. You can give them some excuses, but unfortunately, this animal is no longer around.
Yeah, and
but you're talking about the other stuff with Tasmanian history, with Aboriginal culture and stuff like that as well.
No, not so much Aboriginal culture. Well, that's horrific as well. I mean, the whole damn thing's horrific. But I was talking more about the convicts and stuff like that. For people that don't know, and I take that for granted because we're from Australia. Australia was a penal colony, more specifically Tasmania, which is a separate island, which is where we recently travelled, was called Van Diemen's Land, and they would send convicts down there because they didn't have enough room in the UK, because they were throwing people out for, stealing an apple. They were putting them in jail. And once you do that, you start to rack up some prisoners pretty quickly, and they were just running out of room. So they started sending them down here. And within if you did around 5 years in good behaviour, they'd let you out, give you a piece of land and say, there you go, now you're an Australian and good luck to you. When you think about that, then you've got this place built on hardened criminals.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm not saying they're hardened criminals when they went in. When you stole the apple, that's not a hardened criminal, right? That's not a murder or something. But when you steal an apple and then you have to go on a boat for, I don't know, how long did it take? 8 months or something?
Yeah.
8 months on a boat with other prisoners, and then you get to this penal colony where you're doing hard labour. By the time you come out of that, you're a different person, and sometimes not a very good person. So this other book I was reading, which is the one I've stopped, goes into a lot more of that and how brutal these people were. And I think it's no surprise that they destroyed the Tasmanian tiger because they didn't even have respect for each other. Tell me if you thought different. Sorry, what were you going to say?
All of this started only just over 200 years ago.
Yeah,
we're talking about.
This is not.
It was untouched.
Exactly.
Not long ago. It's pretty recent history.
I think that's why it's such a sore point for Australians as well. Is now in hindsight they see one of the most unique marsupials, unique animals for that matter, on the entire planet, just out of our grasp. As in, we just got to it too late. We just became modern too late to save this one. It's just so sad. Nothing like it exists in the entire world. and we're responsible for it.
Mm.
But my biggest takeout from that book was the wool company, and I can't help but seeing them as the villain because of the absolute bullshit that they were spreading.
Saying that they were taking the sheep.
Oh, so what happens is, this is a very compressed version. One wool company sets up in Tasmania and says, "Hey, everyone, you should get sheeps." Sheeps? There's no such thing. You should get sheep.
Some sheeps.
Sheepses. And get lots of sheepses. And you'll make a lot of money. And don't worry, we'll buy all the wool off you. So, perfect, right? So then everyone buys sheep. And some people bought sheepses. And then they were not getting the yield that they were promised. And they were losing some sheep to wild dogs, to bushrangers, to bushranger is, what would you call that, a fugitive, Craig, for people around the world? Yeah,
Criminal.
Criminal, yeah. So they'd go rogue, they'd go in the bush and then they'd pull up people and take their stuff and everything. Where was I? Yeah, so they and some Indigenous people would take the sheep as well because Indigenous people don't necessarily have possessions, so they just share everything, and if it's there, they just take it. They don't quite, in those days especially, they didn't quite grasp that from what I understand. So what the wool company then did was start to fabricate this this story that the thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger, was this vicious killer that was responsible for taking all of these sheep. And, you know, you would have made a ton of money if it wasn't for those damn thylacines. We're sorry about that. You better get out there and kill some thylacines. And they ended up putting a bounty on thylacine skins, and that was the end of it, man. People weren't just going into the areas where they had sheep and taking thylacines from there. They were traveling for days, if not weeks, into the wilderness to get them because it was pretty much, I guess, a month's wages or something if you bought one skin back.
Yeah, I reckon that is what led to the end.
Absolutely. It was absolutely disgusting display of...
In their defence, if there was one, they probably didn't know much about this tiger, and they probably were a little bit afraid of it, and it was probably a pretty easy cart to push.
It definitely was. What's disturbing in the book is there's actually hand-drawn or painted images that are in this book, and do you remember the one in Craig where it's almost this little gully and there's about 6 or 7 thylacines just tearing these sheep apart?
Oh, right.
And it was it's not a photograph, man. That's not evidence. You don't show someone that. I don't show someone a hand drawing of you stabbing someone down the street and go, yeah, I have hard evidence that Craig is guilty. Look at this hand-painted picture of him stabbing his neighbour.
We've got the proof.
We've got proof right here. That's not proof, man. So they've got some artist to draw this image of these thylacine rounding up about a dozen sheep, and there's fur and blood and everything going everywhere, and then they get this printed in the paper with some crap article about how they're interfering with the wool trade. And it was completely fictitious because every single person who knew anything about thylacines or studied them said they never ever hunted like that. They would not hunt in packs more than their pack size, which was never, like their immediate family, which was never more than 4 offspring. And they didn't round up animals like that. It was just, everything about it was completely fabricated.
Yeah. And I guess there's no going back now. There's a little chapter, isn't there, about, did you get into the genetics and whether they can bring this creature back?
Oh, yeah, I did. I it's
glossed over that part, and I'm just wondering if
no, it's
wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, the problem is, and this is one of the big things that they were talking about in the book, was there's two major problems. One is some of the liquids that they store these things in degrade the DNA, so they're not 100% sure they can get it to absolute mint condition DNA. And the second part of that is, if you were to bring an animal back from a strand of DNA, does it automatically acquire the same habits and mannerisms of the animal that lived for generations? I think that's a really good question. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a whole nother debate too.
It is, isn't it? Because how do you know? So say, for argument's sake, we bring a thylacine back next week. Perfect copy. Like, it looks exactly like every picture ever drawn, the photographs, the video, everything. And we watch it run through the bush. Is it an accurate representation of the way that animal would have conducted itself? You can never know that. Or I guess you can only look at historic kind of reports and
yeah. Well, I think they call it cloning, and I think it would be an interesting case because it's so recent that so their habitat should not have changed that much.
No, the beautiful thing about Tasmania is it still doesn't have foxes.
Because I said 200 years ago before, but that's
less than
they
that.
had captivity. Had creatures in captivity in the what was it, in the 50s or the 40s?
Yeah, I think it was it 36
might have been
or something. With the last one in captivity died.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's why it's all black and white. Yeah, back in the 30s, and so that's not long ago.
No, it's not long ago in the scheme of things. Again, it left me.
Interesting.
In a sense, it was very depressing, but in a sense, I absolutely loved the book. And then it almost left me positive in the end, because I thought, well, and I know Tasmanians, they says it often in the book, that Tasmanians are quite careful that they'll never make that mistake again with the other animals that they've got there now that are so unique. So it's just sad that we had to get to that. Yeah. Could talk about that all night. It was a bloody good book. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's good that we read a book sort of together. We can both chat about it here.
It's like book club. Yeah, it was really good. I thought you. Well, I actually got a photograph of you reading.
That's
at
rare.
the airport.
That's a
I
rare
know.
photo.
That's why I got it. You're at the airport, and I just did a sneaky with my phone just to get.
That's not
photo
very
of you
nice of you.
reading.
It's not very nice at all.
Well, if anyone argues and says, "No, I know Craig, he can't read," I'll say, "Check this out."
Well, can I tell you about this crazy book I just finished reading?
Yes, please do that.
All right. Well, I met this guy named Paul Pritchard in one of the tents at the film festival in Tassie.
Yes.
We met him together, actually. You met him as well, and we talked about the soup we were enjoying.
I bought him some soup.
That's what it was, yes. And we had a little bit of a chat, and I bought his book. And
what did he give you, Craig?
he gave me a nice, tasty whiskey, a single malt whiskey to drink.
Swig of his whiskey.
Yeah,
from
it was
his little
fantastic.
hip flask.
Yeah, from his hip flask. Yeah, it was pretty
We're
special.
just chatting away, and he just goes, "Oh, hey, just
Have
whips
some-
this thing out. You'll love this, Craig."
Yeah. So I bought his book, and I'm blown away by it. I wish I had read it before I met him, so I could have appreciated meeting him a little more, I suppose. It's called The Totem Pole, and it dives really deeply into this guy and his life. And he was a professional. He was a writer who won awards, and he was a really good climber, extreme climber who was traveling around the world. And on his stop in Tasmania, he had an accident serious accident on the totem pole, which is a amazing structure on the cliffs on the coastline of Tassie, and sustained some injury. A rock, they say a rock the size of a television, hit him on the head.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he is remarkable to be alive. The story is compelling. It's written really, really well. So I really loved reading the whole thing. And it starts with some of his earlier climbs and achievements and some of his accidents, because this is, as he says, his third serious accident. So
wow.
he is a little bit accident prone, he admits. And then it moves into...
His words, not yours.
His words. The rescue, and that was incredible. And then, like, it goes through a diary that he was dictating while he was in rehab. One side of his body was completely paralysed, and he went through a 12-month journey to regain some movement. And then the book ends at about 12 months, or the diary ends about 12 months in, and he returns to Tasmania 12 months later.
Oh, wow.
So the end of the book's fantastic.
Isn't it, didn't he meet his wife in hospital?
He doesn't get into that.
Oh, right. But he told us that, didn't he?
Yes.
He did tell us that. Yeah.
But at the end, there's a couple of nurses that you can tell he's friendly with, and I think that perhaps one of them becomes his wife or something.
I see.
But it doesn't say that in the book.
Yeah, right. You carried that book for 65 kilometres, didn't you?
I know. It was...
That's done a hell of a journey in itself.
Yeah, it went with me because, at the time of purchase, I didn't realise I was going to have to take this along the trail. But and I didn't get time to read it on the trail, which I was actually subconsciously thinking.
Yeah.
But it was great. So that's my little book for the night.
Oh, that's cool, man. I wouldn't mind borrowing that potentially.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll hit him up and get my own copy.
Yeah.
He was very, very nice to talk to. Top bloke. Quite interesting.
Mm. I don't think I spoiled much of the book. It's all written, like on the back, it goes through his fact that he had an accident.
You can't really spoil books like that because I can imagine it's going to go to a much deeper place.
No, it was really cool.
Oh, that's good, mate. Congratulations on reading 2 books.
Thank you.
Everyone's proud of you out there listening to the podcast. There'll be a few people driving on public transport
in shock
in the middle of their gym workout, and just a little tiny tear rolls down their cheek. Craig, you did it, mate. You bloody did it, you flaming galah.
Yeah, it didn't hurt that much.
No, I'm proud of you, mate. I'm proud you found time for that.
Yeah, cool.
I alluded to, so in the last podcast, I alluded to a book that I was halfway through, and so I completed it, before the hike and all of that. It was a book called Between a Rock and a Hard Place, and it was by Aaron Ralston, the guy who's made famous for getting his arm jammed between what they call a chockstone, I think, and a rock wall. In the movie 127 Hours.
Yep.
Chockstone's like these boulders that, or rocks that kind of erode in these real tight canyons. And a lot of time they might be as big as a car or as big as a fridge or whatever, and you can actually, a lot of time, jump down onto them and use them to travel down. And on this occasion, I think he was standing on it, and then went to jump down in front of it, and as he leaned, it spun, came down towards his head, and he's put up his hand instinctively to try and stop this thing smashing his head, and it's pinned his right hand against the wall and just wedged there. So there's photographs in the book that he was taking. He was doing a video diary and taking photos while he was trapped, and the photo looks so surreal because it goes from his standard size forearm down to like paper thin hand stuck in. It's just freaky, man.
Totally squashed.
Oh, totally, completely and utterly
destroyed.
As thick as it'd be. I don't even know.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah. I mean,
it's great.
He should have been pretty happy that he got that they cast. Was it Frankie? What's that actor's name? Frankie DeMarco or something? What's his name?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna Google it. 127 hours movie. Where's the actor's name? That's him right there.
Yeah.
James Franco.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. James Franco plays him. I reckon. Yeah, he was batting above his weight there. I think I was pretty generous to give him James Franco. Now,
yeah,
back to the book. This was a difficult read for me, not because he's not articulate. In fact, he's quite the opposite. He's a little too articulate. He writes everything. He's an engineer, and he writes everything way kind of overcooks things. Now, let me just take a step back. I'm not having a go at him for not being able to write. He's not a writer. He's a guy who had his arm trapped and has done a very good job of putting together a book. I've never written a book, so I'll just shut the hell up right now. But I'll move on to the second part, which the difficulty I had with this book is I was telling somebody at work, I was saying, read this book if you want to know what not to do on every single adventure that you go on in the future. It was hard to read. It was like it just played out, like every single one of his adventures played out like a movie where you can just see the bad stuff coming and you go, oh my God, why did he do that? Oh, the killer's going to come through the door. You didn't lock it, you idiot. Like it's literally like that every time, because he does it quite a lot of revisiting adventures from the past before he even gets to this trip, and then while he's trapped, he'll kind of remember back to other trips he's done. There was one instance where he's kind of I feel bad, like I'm hacking on this guy, but it was just, I mean, he kind of alluded to it himself, so I guess I can say the same thing, but he was just very ego driven, and it made for some really bad decisions. He was just one of these guys who's just trying to be the most crazy, the most hardcore, do the most solo stuff. And
yeah, Pritchard talks of himself as a risk taker, which he sells himself as someone who probably took more risks than he should have as well.
Right.
And some of his earlier adventures were, you could be said, he possibly was pushing his ego to that point where he got hurt,
Right.
So
it's
maybe that's part of adventures sometimes for these guys that are on the extreme side of, climbing and...
Oh, yeah. You see, I don't know. I'm not convinced that... I 100% agree with your point. I'm not convinced that this particular individual needed to be at that level. I feel like it was almost an inadequacy that drove him beyond logic into stupidity to then go to a point where no one else in their right mind would go. So then he could claim that he went there and you didn't. Just countless stories. Like one that really stands out to me is he was with this group of guys, and they were search and rescue. They trained in search and rescue together. So again, he should know his stuff. He should know what you do and don't do. He was specifically training with did some avalanche training, and he knew very specifically about avalanches. And what I find interesting, because we don't live in a place that has snow, is I have learned over the years quite a bit about avalanches, and there's a sweet spot where it's highly dangerous. So if you have a really steep terrain, you're actually in less danger because the snow can't stay on the side of the hill. It just continually kind of self-regulates. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the opposite of that is a more flat terrain where there's not enough angle so the snow is going to build up high, but there's not enough angle for it to slide anywhere. So you're safe there as well. Then there's this optimum dangerous level. I think it's from memory, I'm sure it's like 38 degrees or something. So not even 45-degree angle, a bit less. And that's the absolute danger zone where it's not steep enough for it to self-regulate. It's not flat enough for it not to move, and anything can tip it off. All right, so he's with these two other guys, and they're all experts and everything. Not experts. They're highly trained in avalanche. And there's this, how could I explain it? This big bowl, let's call it a big bowl, like a big winding ridge, and all fresh powder. And they're saying, well, let's just follow the top of the ridge. And he says to them, oh, check out the bowl, man. Like, it's unskied, it's fresh powder. It looks epic, man. Let's shred it. Come on, dude. And talks these guys into, he goes, I'll go first. He goes first and just carves up this fresh powder, gets down to the bottom of the ridge. Nothing happens. The next guy goes, gets there, and they're laughing and hooting, high-fiving, nothing happens. The third guy takes off, skis down there, gets down there, and nothing happens. And I thought, well, that was still a silly risk, but okay, you had a pretty cool experience. And then they're sitting there eating some energy bars or something, just saying, wow, that was so cool. And then he remembers thinking, geez, that wind sounds like it's getting up. And then at the last second realized that the three of them had triggered an avalanche. It had just taken a few seconds after the last guy to trigger. And that whole side of the mountain just comes down and smashes them to pieces. He said there was blocks of snow the size of refrigerators, like just rolling past him and smashing him. And he, real bad. He came up and had his face in the snow, and he managed to get out. The other guy, one of the other guys somehow got out, and then the two of them had beacons, and they triangulated where the third guy was, and from his beacon, and they dug him out, and he had snow like jammed down so far down his mouth and throat that he just couldn't breathe. So he was actually blue, and they scooped it out and pulled him out of the snow, and he came to, and he survived. And the rest of their friends were in this hut not too far away, and they came up and got him and took him back and warmed everybody up and treated everybody. And then the next day, those two guys said, we're out of here, we're going home. and they never ever spoke to him again because this guy and this guy's ego had talked him and pushed them into. I can't believe they didn't die. I can't believe one of them didn't die. That guy that was had all that snow jammed down his face.
Could have died. So yeah, I remember the movie painted him as a bit of a show off, I suppose. Like,
I don't remember the movie that much, and to be honest, I don't think I'll ever go back and watch it again.
But the book's not about that movie. You're getting to it's more about the guy, before and after as well. So it's like his thoughts. It's not just the movie.
Yes, I guess so, because I guess the movie
just starts.
It kind of just starts at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on the actual day, so when he does set out, he doesn't do himself any favors. Instead of giving someone, here's where I'm thinking of going.
Yeah. He
gave them an entire state or an entire massive area.
Yeah.
I'm going to Utah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Of what? Okay, good. We'll look for you there.
Yeah, I remember that no one knew where he was.
They had no idea where he was. He didn't tell people when he'd be back. He half committed to this party out in the desert. Again, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to hike all day and ride my mountain bike, and then I'm going to go to this party and party all night, and then I'm going to drive all the way home and do an overnighter and get home, and then I'll be at work for 8 a.m. in the morning, and I'll work the whole day. That to him was being radical and pushing the limits and everything.
Yeah.
So he didn't tell anyone where he was. He half committed to this party, didn't turn up there. Nobody took much notice because they went, he didn't really say he was definitely coming. He half committed to another party at his house. Again, when he didn't turn up, they went, he's probably just, staying out an extra night. Big deal. That's him. He's always out. He's always doing stuff. He never tells us exactly. So he's created this kind of habit of being loose, and that's what really hurt him in the end.
Yeah, it would have been a hard read on that level.
Yeah, I forced myself through it because I was waiting for a moment where he'd have an epiphany and say, I was a real ass, and
didn't come.
It didn't really come.
Right.
There was a few moments where I think in his own way, maybe he thinks he said that, but I don't know. I feel like I've been thinking about this book for weeks now and thinking, how honest am I going to be about this book, or do I just not even talk about it? Because the truth of the matter is this could come back to bite me. This be hilarious to someone else, not to me. If the guy rang me up and said, hey man, that was a bit harsh, I'd still have to say, well mate, if you think it was harsh, explain to me why I wasn't harsh. Or no, sorry, explain to me why you think that I shouldn't have been that harsh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, give me a reason. Recipe for disaster by the sound of it.
Yeah. It was the perfect storm, and every single component of it, he set it up himself. So I don't know how he could defend himself. And like I said, I don't really feel like he got to the end of that and then said, hey, everyone, I was a bit of a dick. But I'm a much better person now. I just didn't get it. I didn't. So, yeah. I don't know who I'm recommending this book to. I think that it's a very interesting book. That's a way of putting it. I definitely found it was an interesting book. I learned a lot from it. I learned about avalanches. I learned about a lot about canyoning. I learned about the logistics of all of that. I learned about the physiological logistics of cutting your own arm off with a blunt penknife. That was actually interesting. The way he describes the whole endeavor is it's actually better than the movie.
Oh, cool.
It's very interesting the way that he talks about the feelings and then the emotions and then what it felt like, what it smelled like. All these things was very interesting.
Oh, cool.
So I guess that's what kept me ticking over. And he does do that's when his over-engineered writing comes into its own, because the detail is so specific that you feel like you know exactly what he's talking about, and it really fits those sections. So yeah, credit for being able to articulate that, because I really felt like I was there doing it myself when I was reading that. And it did lead me to think, like probably everyone who's ever watched that movie has thought, could you do it?
Yeah.
It's the big question, man.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it. Could you do it?
Hardcore.
Would you do it? How long would you wait? It's just the big question. And I was listening to a podcast earlier this week of a lady who was attacked by a grizzly bear. And it's quite an interesting story, actually, but she gets bitten on the head. It's trying to eliminate a threat. So it was in the process of killing her, crushing her head, and the teeth were going through her skull. And just at that moment in time, she managed to unholster the pepper spray, the bear spray, and spray it behind her head, and it got the bear right in the face, and it immediately let go and took off into the bush. Didn't know what hit it, and she survived. And in the podcast, they say to her, other people have said to her since then, I don't think I could have been bitten in the head, and fought it off, and then walked 2 miles to the car, and then driven, because she was out in the middle of nowhere doing research on bears, funnily enough, black bears, not grizzlies. So, and her response to everyone is just, well, you don't know until you're there, and I think you probably could. Like, if I could do it, you'll just snap into it. And I think that's a fairly valid point.
Yeah, you'd think it might come naturally, but geez, that's an epic story, cutting the arm off.
Yeah. To me, the grizzly one's more fight or flight. It's instantaneous. You don't think about
reaction.
it. Something's biting you in the head, and you're reacting. And after that, making her way back to the car, she knew that she was bleeding, but she didn't look. She just didn't want to know about it. She just and I'd be the same, man. I reckon I don't want to know how much blood or how deep it is. If I die on the way to the car, I die, but otherwise I'm focused on getting there, not on my wounds. But yeah, to actually be stuck in a situation where the threat is not immediate and you're not going to die in 2 minutes or 2 seconds, and you have literally day upon day upon day of thinking about cutting your arm off, is just beyond. I just can't put myself in that state of mind to think of how I'd react.
Yeah, scary stuff.
Scary, spine tingling, creepy stuff, man. Okay, I'm going to jump to, as I promised earlier, I'm going to jump to a film and a super positive finish to Books with Tom this week.
Right.
With Wolfpack. It's called Wolfpack. It's a film by Patagonia. Only goes for just under 12 and a half minutes. It's set in the San Juan Mountains above Silverton, Colorado. And this was a standout film for me in Cradle Mountain Film Festival on the mountain film night. And I think, Craig, you were saying it was for you as well.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a family of, they're 5, isn't it? Mum, dad, 2 girls and a boy, from memory, and a dog. And they basically, I'm not really spoiling anything, but the parents had their own addictions and their own problems, and they took to trail running to kind of start to hang out together again and put health and fitness into their life. And their kids have just taken to it, and there's these beautiful opening shots of spectacular, rugged mountains, snow-covered mountains of the mum and dad, and then later on there's these fantastic, real cinematic kind of drone shots of this line of everyone running behind each other on this trail.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the little dog kind of scampering along with them. And the kids are just adorable. Like the son's just the most excitable kid. And
that quirky teenager.
Yeah, with the long hair. And he just loves his dad. Like just absolutely loves his dad. And man, that struck home. Like I almost got a bit teary watching that, just thinking this is so simple. Like running is so simple. Even if you got a crappy pair of shoes, you can run slowly or whatever. Like anyone can do it. And what they've done with their family is it's just fantastic. They're all fit units, and they're not just running. They're doing ultra marathons. Like they do this. They pan across all of the trophies they've got, and there's like 100-milers and 200-miler trophies that she's got and he's got. Yeah. And remember, I can't quote it exactly, but they were saying that how old the kids were when they were entering these 50-mile races and stuff, and it was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, really young.
Really young.
Pretty awesome runs.
Doing big numbers.
Such a good story.
Yeah, it was a beautiful film. I give the guys full credit for whoever shot and produced that.
Yeah.
I saw it as a beautiful film. I've recommended it to so many people. It's not funny. Like people that don't get outdoors, people that don't run, just because I think the message is strong. The message is, if you're passionate about something, include your kids in it and make it something to do with the whole family. So
yeah, I love that. So you've found it available there on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on the Patagonia's YouTube channel.
So you'll chuck a link up on the show notes?
I'll put the in the show notes. I'll put it in there so people can watch the whole film.
I'll definitely watch it again.
Yeah, put your headphones on or stream it through your TV or something. Get it on a big screen if you can. As I said, some really cinematic shots, and I don't know. I can't say enough good things about that. You should really check it out.
Good one.
Knowing you, Craig, since you take my advice and you watched Fuller Sturker.
Yeah,
You probably will watch Wolfpack again.
Made my sister watch Fuller Sturker the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, because we were talking about that, and then we didn't watch the whole lot. Watch half of it, and then she made me watch these grizzly bear attacks. You seen this guy that
Oh, she made you watch it.
Yeah, because I talked about that, and then she brought this guy. I think you've seen it with me too. He just films himself walking back to his truck where he's just been fully torn up.
Yes, I have seen that.
Gets in his truck and drives himself home or whatever.
Yeah, I have seen that.
It's pretty cool film, like pretty amazing adventure. Geez, to survive that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then
I feel like I saw that years ago. Would that be right?
Yeah. And then this other one we watched where these trainers had this grizzly bear that was actually a famous movie bear, and then it killed.
Was it Yogi?
It killed one of the trainers, or one of the trainers' cousins, I believe, was posing for some photos, and it just got him in the neck, and that was it.
Wow.
All
This
stuff.
week on When Animals Attack. It would literally have been on one of those shows.
Yeah,
It would have been.
but it was on YouTube, so there you go.
That's just a rabbit hole going down that conversation. Oh, man. Have you heard about chimps when they go mad?
No.
Oh, I don't even know if I should say it. They are extremely strong
Oh, yeah.
and bigger than you think.
Yeah, yeah.
And malicious, conniving. Man, I'm not going to say it. It's gross. They're horrible things, man.
Mm.
Don't buy a chimp. Don't go near chimps.
What's next on your list?
Hey, about the segment name, can someone just start giving me some ideas? I get feedback on a lot of stuff. I appreciate it all, but come on, give me a segment name.
What?
If we're going
Books
to be
with Tom.
including... Yeah, Books with Tom. It's got films now.
Oh.
Should it still have films? I don't know. Tell me, is it Books with Tom and then the segment Films with Tom? Seems a bit of overkill. And
Yeah.
they're both really well named, so you can't take that away from me.
And I guess it means I'm not allowed to watch any films or books.
No, you read 2 books. You're allowed to watch a film.
All right.
You can join in.
All right. But it's
It
still
was
your
just
show.
that you'd never read, so why would I call it Books with Tom and Craig? It's Books with Tom and Craig watching.
That's what it's felt like
Yeah.
at times.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's good.
Yep.
Shout outs. Okay, how's this, Craig? We got mentioned by a gentleman called Michael Hayden. I think that's how you would pronounce it. He's over in the US and he has his own podcast, and he sent us a message and said, "Hey guys, I mentioned you in my latest podcast." He's just kicking off. So good on you, mate, starting that journey. It's a difficult one, but if you're having fun, keep on trucking.
Yep.
He talks about us and gives us a plug. I really appreciate it. But the reason he talks about us is he said that we were discussing when we were going through the news feeds for hiking, and we always see people lost, people. You remember that conversation?
Oh, yeah, yeah. we've
Yeah,
had that.
so he's talking about a very similar thing, and he referred to us and said, "Oh yeah, that we talked about it on our podcast." And so yeah, it was cool. It was kind of surreal to listen to a podcast of someone talking about us talking on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I do appreciate it. His podcast is called All Overland. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, All Overland. Or is it Go All Over? No, sorry. It's called Go All Over. The podcast is called Go All Over. His Facebook page and everything's called All Overland.
Cool.
Now, what I haven't worked out, so Michael, you're going to have to tell us, or anyway, maybe it's a US thing, is I don't know what overlanding is. Is it forward driving?
Yeah.
Or it is? You reckon it is?
Yeah, so a lot of people make up their vehicle to be able to sleep in or have a
right.
rooftop tent. So it's usually without a trailer, I think. So
Yeah, I think you might be right. Well, when I had a look at his website and everything, it seems like... What is overlanding? Overlanding describes self-reliant adventure travel to remote destinations where the journey is the primary goal. Okay, so it's kind of like what we'd call four-wheel drive camping. Okay, so I'm looking at a Wikipedia page here where there's... Well, yeah, that's a beast. I don't know why those pictures disappeared. Basically images of, people forward driving, rooftop tents, staying in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, we'd just call that camping, wouldn't we? We'd call it forward driving and camping.
yeah, pretty much. But think they try and say that you can almost live in those things, which is
Well,
like
that
we
big
sometimes
bus
say.
looking thing you could.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of forward driving, I took my. Let me just close that off. Thanks, Michael. Really appreciate the shout out. I took my car out for its first off road test last weekend.
Truly.
Yeah, I haven't had it off road since I've owned it, and it just ate the track up, man. It was amazing. Such a good ride, and I felt incredible difference in so many things: the suspension, the articulation across
Tires.
across rust. The tires was a
Makes
massive
such a
one.
difference.
Like you've seen on the edges of the tires, they got these massive lugs hanging out.
Yeah.
And I drove into this, I guess you'd call it a mud hole, and the car dropped into about a metre deep. And I just chucked it into first and just planted my foot, and it just crawled out. And I could really feel the tyres gripping. And then in other parts, we were going over all these rock ledges. So not shale, but more like sandstone rock steps. And I just put it in low range first, and it was just crawling up like a tarantula. It was just no drama. I didn't have to over rev it because this vehicle is a diesel, which I switched from a petrol to a diesel and never looked back. Yeah, really impressed, man. I had such a good time. Got mud all over it.
Having that lift over your old vehicle's just so much better, right? Having that height.
It's high. It's got some crazy suspension upgrades, and yeah, it was good fun. It was really good.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Anyway,
Awesome.
I forgot to tell you about that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I wanted my other laptop, Craig. I remember now. I was looking at our Podbean page, or rather the statistics of where our
For the podcast.
where our podcast gets listened to from.
Oh, yeah.
And it was absolutely fascinating. Let me see if I can quickly grab that other laptop. Hang on a second.
Yep.
All right.
Here it is.
If this doesn't just fire straight up, I'll just ad lib and remember as much as I can. 35% battery. Okay. Good. So, this is the top 5 places that listen to us. Well, just to be clear, that's over the last month or so. February, March, April. Last 3 months. United States is big. It's the biggest. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Howdy.
Love y'alls. I think that's what they say over there. Australia. G'day, guys. How you going? All right.
Bonza.
Canada. Eh?
No.
That's bordering on racism. United Kingdom. Yep. Very good.
Lovely.
And number 5 of all the places. What do you think about that, Craig? Of all the places on the globe, the 5th most listened or downloaded country.
Jeez,
Denmark. I should have Googled how to say thank you or something in Denmarkian, but I haven't. Thanks, guys. I can only imagine that it's because you guys like to get out in the mountains and stuff. And
Danish they speak, right? Denmark, Danish.
hopefully they speak English, because
they're not going to
we
understand
keep
us
doing
otherwise.
our entire podcast in English.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're right, though.
That's strange. I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. I appreciate it.
Bring it
it's
on.
Cool. You know how I reckon it happened? I reckon it happened when we had guests like Oddbjørn
Oddbjørn.
and then Thomas from Sweden. I think those guys really kind of got us some listens, because I'm just going through detailed stats here. Thank you, Sweden. So that's still big. Finland. 12 people in Finland downloaded our episodes. Thank you. Singapore, Germany, France. This is where it starts to get crazy. Israel, Spain, Ireland, Netherlands, South Korea, Austria, Japan. ありがとうございます。本当にありがとうございます。Kenya, Belgium, one person in Chile, one person in India, one person in Iraq, Lithuania.
And then it has others, like there are other places in the world that are not listed on this list.
Yeah. I don't know, you're putting in Lithuania. I'll tell you what I saw when I looked at some other stats. Was some crazy places like Latvia.
Yeah.
One person in Latvia listened, and I bet their name was Giannis, if it was a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they, I think they have a thing where they name all their sons Giannis.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I learned that off another podcast. Anyway, I wanted to specifically speak out to all of those countries, because it really does blow my mind that we reach so far and wide. It's not like I don't appreciate the US listeners, Australian listeners. Of course we do, everyone else. But to just get into those one or two people in these crazy places is also equally rewarding.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Thank you. The next thing I wanted to do, Craig, is I want to give some stuff away, because A, it's been a while, and B, the guys who received the stuff last time were really super happy. One of the guys actually sent me a photo of him wearing, on a hike, I think he was with his wife, wearing his Caribbean hat, trucker's hat, and his Rios sunglasses. It was
cool.
pretty cool.
Awesome.
I'll show it to you real quick if I can find it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That went down really well, and I thought we could have a bit of fun with it, because we like fun.
Yeah.
So I thought you have to do two things, and we'll send you a hat, and you get a choice of a grey one or a blue one, but we'll cover that later. So give us some feedback. I don't care what medium you use. I don't care if it's on Instagram, Spotify, Facebook. No, it's not Spotify. Sorry, what I meant to say was Podbean, iTunes, Facebook. You can email us at team@hikeordie.com. I don't care how you contact us, Messenger on Facebook, whatever you want. Just give us some form of feedback. I know a lot of you guys already do, and I really appreciate it, and I read it all. So tell us if it's good, if it's shit, or if it's good shit. Just tell us what you think. And then you have to answer this question. You ready?
Yeah.
If you send me a free Caribbean trucker's hat, you got to finish the sentence.
Wow. Wear it.
Yeah, Could be that. I mean, I don't think if you answered that, I don't think you'd be in the. I'd put you down on the list, but I wouldn't put you up the top of the list.
Okay.
So you might say, "Hey guys, love the podcast," or "I don't like the podcast. Tom talks too much, and he never has his notes together, and he's always fumbling for words. If you give me the hat, I'll wear it next time I'm hiking and tag you guys in a photo on Instagram."
Cool.
That might go okay because I'm not going to take it personally. Actually, I can't guarantee that. I'm not going to take it personally.
Does everyone who does this get a hat, or are we?
No. Good call. Oh, boy, you saved me then. Could have 20,000 people requesting hats. No. Let's say, because I like giveaways when I don't have to be too specific about numbers because I just like giving stuff away. So I'm going to say somewhere around 3 to 4, right?
Okay.
3 to 4 hats I'm going to give away.
Makes sense.
If there was some absolute gold, I'd probably extend it maybe another 1 or 2. But I don't care where you're from. It doesn't matter. Last time I sent 1 pack down to in Australia and then 1 over to the US. So that really doesn't matter.
Cool.
Just encourage you guys to get in touch. And Caribou sent us some pretty cool truckers hats. So
I'll get in there if you want one then.
yeah. There's I might even still have 1 pair of Rios polarized sunglasses left, but I'm not going to promise that until I go and check my stock. But do that. What do you think of that, Craig? Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Pretty fair.
Yeah.
We're just asking for words in return for cold, hard caps.
That sounds good. No, that'd be
All
cool.
right. At this point, I think I've covered everything and got you guys up to date with everything we're doing. We're going to jump now to the recordings that we took along our hike in Tasmania a couple of weeks back. Hopefully they're good.
Yeah, we have not yet listened.
There'll be something in there. And what we'll do at the end is we'll jump back in at the end in the studio here and just add a few bits and pieces if we think anything was missing, and also just sign off. So if that's good with you, Craig, we should get to it.
Yep, for sure.
All right, enjoy. Good morning, Craig.
It is.
It's 13 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. Somewhere around 4.5 degrees Celsius. And it says in the little comment underneath, feels like minus 4.4 degrees Celsius. If you hear any noise, we're just eating breakfast.
It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold and windy. A bit wet. It's going to be good.
All those things.
Mm-hmm.
Have you enjoyed the festival and everything so far, Craig?
Oh, it's been great. It's been so good to meet some cool people, man. And to like watch film after film of adventure activities. I thought, I didn't expect it to be so good, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been to festivals where it's really mixed up with different genres and stuff, and you don't know what's going to come next. And
yeah, right.
that's good too. But this was some pretty awesome films, stuff we don't get a chance to see.
No, there was some fantastic stuff. I'm going to take this. I've got this guide in front of me from last night. So the first part of the film festival on Friday night when we arrived, it was a couple of Australian films and also a couple of international. But the Mountain Film Festival, which a lot of you are probably familiar with, is predominantly US. And I'm just going to look at what did we watch? Oh yeah, there's a movie called Intersection with this girl called Michaela Gatto. She's a professional mountain bike rider and an artist. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I liked that one. What else did you like? Oh, I didn't mind Frontier of Firsts.
Yeah,
which was which was a kayaking film where they used float planes to fly into really remote locations and then kayak some of these crazy rapids. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, bloody dangerous.
I remember saying to you, that's the quickest way to get into hospital.
Yeah.
Drop everything. That was a heavily downhill ski featured one. Remember that? The Michelle Parker.
Yeah.
What was it about? Life Coach. That was an interesting little film.
I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind that at all. It's directed by Renan Ozturk. He's a very, very good mountain climber.
Yep.
Yeah, he's knocked around with Alex Honnold for years. But Renan's life has kind of taken him in the direction of filming documentaries and his painting and stuff like that as well. So it's not even a film about climbing, which is what makes it pretty cool. It's more of like a film about Alex asking Renan questions about, how he feels about taking a break. Well, not taking a break.
Stepping back.
But just putting it, not having it as a high priority. Like, as he says in the film, all Alex does is wake up to climb and climbs to live. It's a different way of life.
Yeah. No, it was really interesting that they put a funny little twist on that, like a different angle than I saw coming. It was good.
I'm eating oats, and I made oats for Craig, so.
Thanks, mate.
But they're already cold.
Yeah, I think we've got to get used to that.
Yeah, it's alright. I had a cold shower this morning.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that.
It was...
I can hear him from out here.
It was the second coldest water I've ever been in. I'm not going to use the word painful. It was psychologically scarring, but physically...
Sounded like it.
arousing.
Oh, jeez. I had a terrible hot shower. It was it was beautiful. It was so nice. But
I tried to warn him.
That was really good. Last one for a little while.
Yeah, the only things we got ahead are pretty much just streams and some beautiful lakes if we want to think about getting clean and in any way. Hey, back to the mountain film. That movie called The Wolf Pack. That was good, wasn't it?
Was that about the family?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was good. Yeah, because Craig and I were making a comment earlier on. I think we might have touched on it last night at the film festival, but we definitely spoke about it today and said, or not today, yesterday, and said, when you just can't compete with extreme sports for that, almost that crazy factor. So you're watching a film and you go, wow, that guy jumped off the biggest cliff with his snowboard or whatever. We're never going to do anything like that, so our stuff's never going to be of that caliber. But then this film proved a point that we were both making through the festival, that the storytelling is the draw card. And this film's about a family of 5. They had 3 kids, didn't they?
3 kids, yeah.
2 girls and a boy. And this family run together, and they ultra run together, do all of the massive races, 106 milers and crazy stuff like that. This what do you say? His 10-year-old did a 50. Yeah, his 10-year-old did a 50-kilometer race,
Yeah.
and his 14-year-old, 13 or 14-year-old boy completed the 106 miler.
Yeah.
I think he was the youngest person to do it. It's just incredible. But I mean, the film wasn't about their amazing feats. The film was about the fact that trail running in particular, brings their whole family together on a regular basis.
Hmm.
I'm going to open the blinds to let in some well, I'm not going to call it sunlight.
Ooh.
I'm just going to say,
It's murky.
so you can see those inky clouds out there.
Gee.
We're going to walk out into that in approximately 25 minutes.
Yeah, there's no colour out there.
No, it's grey. But something we're getting used to here is the sun doesn't come up as early as where we're from. So when the alarm goes off the last 2 mornings, I've thought that I had set it wrong significantly. This morning it was pitch black.
Yeah.
Yesterday we slept in because we were a bit worn out, and I set my alarm for 9 a.m. I woke up at 7 and thought it was about 4 a.m. and it was 7.
Mm.
And then I set it for 9, and when I woke up at 9, I thought it was still about 7. It was so dark outside.
Nah, but we were up and at it today.
Yeah, feeling pretty good actually. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. I got to throw a little bit in my pack.
Yeah, I've got a bit of packing to do.
We're going to walk out this door in about 15 minutes, mate.
Yeah, just a bit over. Not till I finish my banana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, anyway, it was really good that they gave you a plug last night while we were all sitting.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to walk to a couple of huts today, which are screening films, including Tom's, which will be so good.
Yeah, that was really nice. It was the film festival operator. Jumped up during the mountain film segment and said, by the way, tomorrow there's a film playing out in one of the huts. Make sure you get along and check it out. I thought that was really, really nice of her to do that. And then I woke up and saw the weather, and I said to Craig, nobody's going out to see the film today except us, because we literally have to walk past it. To put it in context, we have to walk past that hut to get to our destination tonight, which is, I guess we haven't really explained what we're doing. So we've spent the last 2 days here at the film festival, and then today, which is Sunday, we move out with our packs, hike to this hut, watch the film, and then continue on our way for the rest of the day. And then that's day 1 of a 6-day, roughly 75-kilometre hike, if you add in a couple of the side trails we're going to do. So yeah, that's what we're up to, and that's why we thought we'd just quickly do a little snippet for you.
And what do you reckon, mate? Going to see your film that was shot here on that thing today, is it going to be pretty special?
Everyone seems to think it is. A couple of people, one of the guides that was in the film, she can't wait to get up there today and watch it. And the actual film festival, Cradle Mountain Film Festival organizer is really stoked to have it up there as well. It hasn't really sunk in yet. It's such a juxtaposition in that you don't hike for a couple of hours and then watch your own film in a hut in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. So it hasn't really sunk in that that's actually going to happen.
No, I reckon it'll be. I reckon it'll be really nice for you, mate, to see what you've done in that situation. So I hope it goes well. Hope you enjoy that feeling.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll be soaking it up. I had to give a talk yesterday about the film, and I was pretty nervous about that just because I changed my direction a bit late in the piece, but I was really happy with how it all came together. You may have seen a couple of photos and a little snippet Craig took on his phone. We will talk to the Cradle Mountain Film Festival and see if we can use the audio that I recorded, see if we can get that out to you guys. If it's any interest of you, we might drop it into a podcast. I know somebody's actually already asked that. Jodes, good on you, mate.
Alright.
He already said it'd be great to hear that, so we'll see what we can do, mate. Anything else to add before we sign off, mate?
No, mate, I'm gonna get packing.
Yeah, I've got 10 minutes of packing to do, and I have nothing else to add, but we're gonna get out there.
Hit the trail.
We'll talk to you guys periodically. We're not sure how it's going to work. It all depends on how we feel and the weather, but let's see how we go. This is it. This is everything we've wanted. If we walk across the road here, we'll be at the start of the overland track. Oh, what? Almost forgot my apple, which I can't fit anywhere in my pack because it's so full. At least it's nice and sunny. That's one thing we've got. There you go.
Warm and sunny.
Just waiting for Craig to go down this hill and then come up the other side, purely just for a photograph. I'm getting hammered at the moment. Just got my back to the wind. I should be thankful that it's not raining, but the waves of clouds and rain are moving through pretty quickly, so who knows how long that'll last. Craig's over there, got his snacks, like he's at the cinema. Because I do a lot of silly things. This is one of them. I'm not nude yet, but I will be, which is a bit weird now because Craig's right there. I don't know what's with him. It's alright. We're good mates, but what I'm trying to do here is get in this water and put it in perspective. I'd say it was 0.4 degrees Celsius last night or thereabouts, and there was still snow on some of the mountains when we were cruising around. Alright, stop talking, get this gear off. Hope this. You might want to look the other way, mate. He's still looking. Alright. Oh, jeez. I just went for a swim and it was awesome. Craig's cruising around taking some photos, and I got a whole bunch of snacks. It's not an actual lunch, but it will be my lunch. I've got chocolate, Cliff Bar, beef jerky, and salted cashews. This is the life. I'm just here eating a Cliff Bar, enjoying the view, and what do you know? Old mate over here has decided to go for it. Hey, why do you still got pants on? Just get your pants off.
Alright.
That sounds weird, no matter which way you say it. Whoa! We're gonna have to put a big blurry bit on this footage. I would recommend you going down that nice sandy bit, and then it gets deeper where you can jump in. It's funnier watching it than doing it. This is great. Yeah, but look at the view.
Alright, here you go.
He did it. He said he wasn't going to do it before. He said he's too old for that shit. Oh, goodness me. That's going to be a tough edit, that one. Welcome back, people.
Here we are, day 2.
Day 2. Getting pretty late in the day. Let me paint a little picture. I'm just tying up my boots while I'm talking in front of Lake Will, which is at the base of a mountain called Barn Bluff. So that noise you can hear is little wind chop waves washing up against the beach. You can hear some little kind of a sparrow or a finch. Hear that? No, he's
Yeah.
up in that tree there. He's up in the top of that tree there.
Oh yeah.
See him moving around. We just had a visit from this massive bumblebee, which I hope the video footage comes out.
Yeah.
Landed on my hand. It was absolutely gorgeous. And what have you just done, Craig? Did you done anything exciting lately?
Oh, I may have just put my clothes back on from a freezing swim.
Oh, it was so funny. It was so funny to watch. I haven't laughed that much for a while.
It was freezing.
It's cold water. That's a fact.
I think those words you said, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, yeah, because I went in before and I've been to this lake once and I sucked out. I didn't do it. And I always thought that was silly. But I got in today despite standing in there talking for 2 minutes while my legs went numb. And then I said to Craig, yeah, I think I did use those words. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
No, you said that when I was saying I couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, right.
And then you said that, and I went, you know what? I'm not probably going to come back here with the sun out like this again. Here we go.
Yeah, well that's a good point. You might come back here, but to have full sunshine. We're actually on a white sandy beach, which does not make any sense at all because we are in the middle of this massive island called Tasmania at the bottom of Australia. And we've hiked for a day and a half to get into the middle of nowhere, and this lake has sandy white beach shores.
Yeah, and the temperatures aren't warm, but it's just come warm today, and we've just finished a hike, so we thought we could do it.
Yeah. Just had lunch and there's good footage of Craig, no clothes on, jumping around in the water. So
there's no footage. Don't say there's footage. There is no footage.
So keep an eye out for that. That'll be good.
That's wrong. There's absolutely no footage of that, unfortunately. No one was expecting me to do it.
Oh, wow, it caught me off guard. Oh, caught my GoPro off guard in my hand.
No way. That's not going to be seen.
All right. We're just packing up our gear now. We've been sitting around eating a bunch of snacks. We're going to pack up our gear and hike back to the main trail. And then we probably still have another hour or two of cruising, pretty easy stuff, and a lot of downhill to our next stop. I don't know, maybe tonight we should try and do a bit more chatting like this. Didn't really get a chance last night. That's
Okay.
all right. All right, signing off.
Cheers.
We haven't got far to go now. Once we dip over this next ridge, we'll go through some forest and we'll pop out at Lake Windermere. And that's where our campsite is for the night. Fantastic day though. It's just gorgeous out there. I'm just sitting here taking a few photographs of a mountain called Barn Bluff. Just kind of waiting for the sky to change. And I've got chocolate, so I'm going to sneak a bit of that in while I'm waiting. We just had dinner and I'm going to take some photos till the sun goes down, and we've got a clear night tonight, which means maybe I can do some astrophotography. Otherwise, we need to get an early night anyway, so it's win-win. Doesn't matter what happens. It's pretty cool out here. What's going on, Craig? Is that water boiling?
Yeah,
almost. We just had a coffee, and I mean a real coffee. None of this out of packet stuff. I invested in one of those nano press specifically for this trip, and I knew that Craig really likes his coffee, and I do too.
Mate, I don't care what you invested. I think it was worth twice that, because that was delightful, man.
I think it is worth twice that. I'm very surprised at the cost, actually.
Expensive?
No, it's not. No, as in they could have charged me double and I would have paid.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying for what I just tasted.
Yeah, no, they're really good. That's not even that's a free plug for those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're sitting next to a gorgeous little stream. A few mountains out to the left and the right. I've got the whole place to ourselves. We walked up the stream a little way, and Craig had his noodles that he has.
Shin Ramyun,
Shim Ram Yum,
I think.
something like that. It means hot ass.
Yeah, since that night on the top, what mountain was it?
Oh, that's when we did that other podcast at the base of Biwa.
Biwa. Yeah.
Yeah.
mate, since then. I've been craving it.
Thanks, that water's done. You could probably hear the stream now, if you listen carefully.
There we go.
That's the stream.
Yeah, so day 3, 18 clicks.
18 clicks, turn it up, mate.
It was good.
It's 16 and a half.
Is it? That was a fail. I thought it was more than that. No, I didn't. I thought that was what you said. 16. Oh, that's right. 8 times 2, because we got halfway. No, that makes sense. I can do my maths.
You with us now?
Yeah.
Yeah, big day. Fairly hefty elevation as well, like straight out of the box this morning. And then again after lunch, we didn't even really have lunch. This was our lunch. We had a break, and then we had to hit some steep terrain again. I've had my bath for the day. Again.
Crazy, man.
Which was... I just jumped in this creek here, and I got in a lot quicker than yesterday, but
Got out a bit quicker too.
man, it was cold.
No, you did well. I'm impressed.
It was so much colder than yesterday. It was things were happening that aren't meant to happen to a human body. I don't know.
It's pretty cold. We had to walk across it to get here.
Yeah, we had to walk across it.
And that was enough for me. That was enough.
That'll do me. I'm just doing 2 things at once, so I'm not really paying attention. I'm just washing out the coffee machine. But it's been a spectacular day. Seen some beautiful stuff. That really sells it, doesn't it?
No,
We've seen some beautiful stuff.
It's been beautiful stuff everywhere.
Yeah, there's been beautiful stuff. And things. There's been things everywhere.
No, this is night 3. We had 2 nights out in the tents, and we're planning on having a night in one of the cabins tonight.
Yeah.
Bit of a luxury, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like a communal public cabin. They're well maintained. They're quite nice, and Craig and I want to get an early start in the morning to summit this little peak. And in order to do so, I think just not having to put a tent away and everything's just going to be really good.
Yeah.
And it got pretty cold last night, didn't it?
Yep.
There was ice outside.
Yep.
That
all around the tent, the timber boards were icy, and you could slip around on them.
I reckon all that ice melted into that creek just there.
Pretty much. No, it'd be interesting to get chatting to some people might not have met before tonight.
Yeah, we've run into a few characters already. It's cool.
We sure have.
And yeah, there's something about meeting people on the trail. They've all got their own reason for being out here. Some people are solo. There's a group of 4 guys that we met on the very first afternoon, and had a few laughs with them. And there's a guy getting around solo, and then there's this old guy smashing it out, isn't he, Craig?
Yeah, he beat us here today.
He did too.
Yeah.
This dude was like...
I had a quick chat with him. He reckons he did it in 1972, and then he did it once again. I think he said 90 something, so like 94 or something, let's say.
Oh, right.
And then he's doing it for the 3rd time, and he reckons it's changed a lot. The upgrades they've done.
Yeah, a fair few. What they've tried to do here to minimise impact is where there's these big boggy marshes, which is very, very, very prevalent in this area. As you can imagine, hundreds of people walking through there just damage it, and then the next group that comes, they don't want to get their feet muddy, so they go around and they ruin all of this stuff called button grass. So to minimise the impact of that, they put in these long planks called duck bores, and they staple chicken wire to it for grip. It's definitely not all the way. Like, it's nice to walk on real terrain.
Yeah, which we did today.
Yeah,
There's a
my
bit of sloppy
favourite
stuff today.
parts are those kind of like those chunks of granite rock that are all just naturally on the ground, and it just sounds cool too when you walk over it.
Yeah.
It's been good. Been through some mud today too.
Yeah, sure did.
But it's one heck of a spot. Met a few leeches just before. That's pretty exciting for listeners.
Well, maybe we'll just put this away and pack up our stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to the hut, and it faces west, so we'll be able to get some sun on us. Check that our gear's dried, and pretty much just do nothing for the rest of the day. I might take a couple of photos, but that's about it.
And I'd like to see if that GeoPress will work again.
Oh, you need some more water? Yep. All right, people. We will talk to you sometime in the next couple of days. Hopefully with amazing news of our summit.
Yeah.
You never know. All right, see ya. Just catching up with Craig and a couple of guys who I'm about to ride up Mount Ossa. I don't know how far we'll get. See how we go. But conditions aren't ideal, but they're still not that bad, I guess. Kind of looks and feels worse than it is. It's alright. It'll be worth it if we get to the summit. Make that coffee taste good tonight too. This is it. Start to hit the summit. And conditions are warm and sunny with a light breeze. Just how I like it.
Yep. Done. Hey.
Stellar effort,
Mate.
You did well.
Oh, thank you.
Smashed it.
Well, I was thinking on the way up, although I'm not sure.
Good job, mate. Well done.
Stupid idea, wasn't it?
Come on, buddy. Good job, mate.
Well, Craig.
Well done, Chris. Thanks for your help, guys.
Well, I was on the way up, I'm going. The same day I avoided doing the dumbest thing I've ever done, which is try to summit Ossa without a guide. And I did one of the smartest things I've ever done. Just hooked onto Tom's caravan and away we went. Seriously, I would have just bailed ages ago.
What a great outcome.
All right. Big day today, Craig.
Shit, yes.
We're currently laying in our tents about 2 or 3 meters apart from each other and just having a chat.
Yep.
Thought we'd throw the mics on and talk to you guys too.
Yeah.
Tell us about today, Craig.
Oh man, that was true hike or die fashion. That it was such a crazy weather to summit that mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, so we got up at 5 o'clock this morning. There was 2 other guys that had never been up this mountain, and they asked us last night if I'd guide them up there, and it sounded like a pretty good idea. So Yeah, we got up at 5, had some breakfast, packed our gear, and we were on the trail at 7.
Yeah, walking by head torch.
Yeah, walking by head torch because it was so still so dark and cloudy, and
then it was
the
raining.
bad weather. Yeah, and it started raining on us. All of the things you don't want when you're trying to climb a mountain. And the climb from that hut is just brutal, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just straight up for a couple of kilometres.
Yeah, so it's like an hour and a half of just powering up a hill with the big pack on.
Yeah.
Before you get to the chance to climb the mountain.
Yeah, that's right. So you kind of get worked over before you even get the opportunity to then drop your big pack and get your day pack ready, and then go for the summit. But by the time we got ready for that, the wind was howling. It was freezing cold.
Yeah. What mountain is it, so everyone knows?
Mount Ossa,
Yeah.
highest mountain in Tasmania.
Yeah, damn straight.
And yeah, so we kept going and got a little way up, and I still reckon, I was talking to one of the other guys, I still reckon that we got hit with some sleet there for a minute or two.
Oh yeah, it was
stinging me through my rain jacket.
Yeah, it was just hitting the face and just really, strong winds and probably sleet in the rain.
And yeah, we kept on trucking, just took our time, and eventually got to the summit. There was snow up there, which was pretty awesome. Been a long time since I've seen snow, especially where we come from. So that was pretty cool to see that. But it was a bit too cold to hang around for long.
Yeah, mate, that was, one of the best moments of the trip, one of the best moments of hiking with you, dude. Just getting to that, point where we're standing on the top of that mountain with snow at our feet and, just really bad conditions to push through it. Mate, really, really loved it today. Felt like we, had pushed hard anyway. That was great.
Yeah, we worked for that. It was good to see you up there.
Yeah.
I've done it twice before, both in perfect sunny weather, and this was the complete opposite. And I think I'm still kind of cold inside from today. We got back to the next hut, so after the summit you hike back down, and then you grab your packs, and then you keep moving to the next hut, which is called Kia-ora. And we found a tent platform that was in the sun, and so that was something that happened. As we got down off the mountain, the sun came out and all the clouds blew away except for around the mountain. So it was absolutely fantastic because it started to dry out our pants and our jackets while we were walking, which was really cool.
Yeah, but that's that's the thing. We got to the top of the mountain and we couldn't see anything.
No, there was no views. Yeah, just to be clear. If we put any photos up anywhere, it's just us with some mist behind us, claiming that we got to the summit.
Yeah, we did.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so back here we were just sitting on the tent platform, and I decided it was a good idea if we both ate a double serve of freeze-dried food each.
It was a good idea.
Because we had just burnt so many calories today. And it was a good idea. What did you have, Craig? Some honey soy chicken?
Yeah, honey soy chicken.
Yeah, I had beef curry, and it wasn't bad.
Okay.
And yeah, I smashed that whole thing. I ate a bit of chocolate, and then I was kind of sitting there and thought, oh, I get a head start setting up my bed, so I inflated my expert mattress, and then I got out my Zembuvi sleeping bag, and then I just kind of laid on that in the sun, and then I pulled the sleeping bag up because there's quite a cold breeze despite the sun, and next thing I know I was completely passed out in some dreamland.
Yeah, I did the same thing in suit. I was soon asleep in the sun.
Yeah, because when I woke up, there's a cold breeze blew through, and it kind of blew in under the sleeping bag around my face, and it woke me up. And then I thought, it was dead silent. I thought, oh, Craig must have gone off taking photos somewhere. And then I stood up and turned around, and he was passed out on his mattress with his sleeping bag over his head. And yeah, which was probably a good time to get the tents up just in case the rain came or something.
Big day.
Massive day. How do you rate your trip so far, Craig?
Oh, mate, excellent. I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting from the overland track. I thought longer day hikes. I thought probably we would be hiking all day long.
Right.
And it's been challenging hikes, but they haven't been all day, which has been really nice.
Yeah.
Today was long, but we still got time to just lay in the sun and photograph wombats and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, today wouldn't have been long if you didn't take the side trail to summit.
Exactly. So the actual track is typically short days, but we're doing a bit extra.
Yeah.
And mate, we're still having a great time. We're still and because the track, I can tell a lot of the upgrades have just been so that you can still enjoy the day. You're not having to get your feet so wet all the time, and
Yeah.
so I think they've done a really good job of the track.
Yeah. It's the more popular it gets, and the more they upgrade the track, the more they need to upgrade the track, because
More people.
the traffic's just gonna mow through that button grass and that kind of sediment layer that they have here, which is almost like a sludgy kind of it's like a wet rainforest mulch, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah.
It's not really mud, it's this weird kind of mixture.
It was good to meet that cool laid back workman. He's obviously a tradie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do an amazing job.
Yeah, that's the second time I've run into trail builders.
Yeah.
And the first time I stopped and actually said, thanks for your hard work, really appreciate it. And I stopped again today when I saw this guy, and he'd been back and forth since December working on the track.
Yeah.
And I happened to mention a particular part where they did some beautiful stonework. There's an amazing part so prior to the summit, prior to even getting to the base of the mountain, you go around a smaller mountain called Mount Doris, and on the side of that there's a place called Japanese Gardens, and it really seriously looks like manicured Japanese gardens. It's absolutely
That's where we stopped, right?
spectacular. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
beautiful.
spectacular. And just beyond that, they've laid all these, they take stones from the environment and lay them down in a beautiful path, and it kind of winds through the trees. And I just said to him, oh, nice work on that little trail past the Japanese Gardens, because that wasn't there 2 years ago. And he said, oh yeah, that's what I've just been working on. So I just finished that. It's
He's
my
just
last
like,
day today.
I love working with stone. Anything that's stone.
Yeah, he said, I love working. doing the stonework. I just wanted to do the stones.
Yeah, he loves his job. That's cool.
Yeah, he was a dude. Yeah, top bloke.
Crazy job though.
It is a crazy job. They drop these guys out here in these little pods or something, and they've got basically everything they need. But every day they just rock up, and helicopters drop the long lengths of timber that they use, but they actually transport it up the trail, one or two planks at a time.
That'd be hard work.
Yeah, man, tell me about it, hey? Imagine even just getting up to the Japanese gardens with that timber.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, tough job. But I'm sure it's got its perks. Like, imagine morning tea.
Yeah.
Just sitting there overlooking this amazing place. I think a person that takes a job like that is already interested in something like that. Yeah, good luck to him anyway. What else is coming up? Oh yeah, we did see a wombat. Craig mentioned that. That was pretty cool. Only about 10 metres from us, probably less actually, 5. And he was pretty cute. And some of the stuff we're talking about, we have footage of, and we'll work out a way of knocking that together and either sharing it via Instagram or our Facebook page or YouTube. So
Yeah, maybe the show notes.
yeah, just keep an ear out for that, and we'll definitely list where they are. Tomorrow is a shorter day, but it takes us past a beautiful old hut. A guy who used to, I think he was a fur trapper back in the day, and he, out of this entire region, he decided to build a log cabin right at the base of this enormous mountain range, right probably about 50 metres from this gorgeous stream, and a little rainforest sort of area where everything's just covered in moss.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then we'll be at our next hut tomorrow night, hopefully living it up.
So just two more days.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
tired,
right.
pretty worn out.
I was just thinking before when you were talking, I moved my legs a bit, and every single muscle, tendon, joint, I don't know how to explain it, just everything. I wouldn't say it hurts. It's not pain, it's just pure fatigue, and you can tell that it's all been used.
Yeah. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've got wheelchairs you can take from this hut to the next one tomorrow.
Good.
Which is going to come in handy.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be a tough job walking for that first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yep, it's going to be hard to get out of bed in the morning, but we will, and we'll have another huge day, I'm sure.
We'll get to sleep in a bit tomorrow, which is good.
Hey man, that sounds good.
It's been a big day.
Yeah.
What's the time now?
Last rays of light around here. It's almost black. It's almost dark.
It's getting late.
What is it?
Yeah, I'm just checking. It's actually 10 to 8.
Yeah, it is. Yep. I just checked too. Yeah.
So, with any luck, we'll get about 11 hours sleep tonight, which is well deserved.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah. On that note, I can't really think of anything else. Craig.
No, that's a little cap on what we did today.
Yep.
All right. Lights out.
Yeah, lights out. That's exactly right. We'll leave you guys for now and catch up with you later in the trip. See ya. We've arrived at the Duquesne Hut. You'll hear the acoustics change. I just walked inside.
It's cool, eh?
It's pretty awesome in here. So what we're looking at is old bunk beds, but they're made from actual tree limbs, not chunks of timber. And then any timber that is here, every single plank has been split by hand. There's a massive kind of fireplace as well at one end, which would have been well used in this spot. I'm just going to read some of the information here because I'll never remember it. Paddy Hartnett is the guy who built this hut, I believe. In 1910, pioneer bushwalker, trapper and prospector Paddy Hartnett built this now historic hut as a hunting headquarters. He felled a huge King Billy pine which supplied the timber to build the southern portion. In the 1930s, Duquesne Hut, colloquially known as Windsor Castle, was the only hut between Pelion and Narcissus Plains. Just for context, that's a long, long way for only one hut. The northern extension of the hut was built in 1935 and 1936 to accommodate the increasing number of walkers, and there have been about 4 other renovations to the hut since then. Awesome. In 1925, Paddy joined the Osmiridium rush. It's osmiridium, that's a type of metal or crystal or something, isn't it?
Oh no.
It sounds like it.
If they're calling it a rush.
Yeah, exactly. Osmiridian rush to Adamsfield, retiring to Hobart in the 1930s. So he spent a good chunk of time here. There's a few photographs of him just hanging out, and look at he's wearing a bowler hat. Great. That's incredible.
Oh yeah.
There he is on the summit of Mount Ossa in full snow in his bowler hat.
What?
Oh, that's a bit sad. That's a bit sad. There's a photo of a strung up wombat. They would be collecting that at the time for the pelt, and then also obviously the food.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm just going to walk through to the other end. Can you hear this bird outside? He just won't shut up. Anyway. Just walking into the southern end. This is the modern part. Wow. It is cool. At the moment I'm looking out through a very old window, which I suspect was not constructed here but probably carried in on somebody's back, because it has panes of glass in it and it looks like it's professionally done. So the lengths that he's gone to hike this thing in for 4 or 5 days is incredible. I think it's the only window in the entire hut. Well, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'll try and get a photo of this window, and I'll sign the registry book, and we'll keep on trucking. See you later. We're in the middle of this absolutely gorgeous forest with moss-covered trees. We're just being followed by this little bird who's very interested in what we're doing. He's just working his way around the edges of the trees. I suspect he's pretending to look for bugs because he always seems to be around where we are. He's ripping bark off the tree. What do you think of this, Craig?
What do I think of this part? Mate, this is beautiful. It's so cool in the shade, and mate, some of these trees are so ancient.
I know, they'd have some stories to tell. Mostly probably just about fools like us walking past.
I think that bird's up to something.
Oh yeah, he's some kind of a spy, I have no doubt.
Yeah, we should get moving.
I'm going to leave this record for a little while, just in case.
Just in case something happens.
Something happens, people find the phone and then say, I know who did it. It was the bird with the stick in the forest. See, look at this. It's awesome, eh? We're just standing at a massive buttress of a fallen tree that's probably a foot higher than me, about 7 foot. And it's just covered in moss. And yeah, it's been there a long while. There's ferns growing out the back of it. We've seen a lot of people from around the world. A couple of Dutch guys and actually a fair few Aussies as well. But this place is worth checking out. And Craig and I pushed pretty hard yesterday to get up to that summit in absolutely freezing weather. Oh, Craig, I stand corrected. That was the shot. Yeah, it's that tree there. We're just talking about a photo, a bit of film that I took not last time I did this trip, but the time before. I was touching the moss and it's not as cold as you think. It is cold and it's softer than it looks too. Anyway, what was I saying? Doesn't matter. This place is awesome. Oh yeah, I was saying that we pushed pretty hard yesterday. By the time we got to our campsite, as I think we already mentioned last night, the sun was out and we were drying off our clothes and our bodies. And that sun's continued today. So we had a pretty good sleep in there, Craig.
Best ever.
I think, what time did we get up? It was 8 o'clock you got up.
Yeah.
So I was just laying there checking the track on my phone. Yeah, and then it took us, 3.5 hours to actually eat breakfast and pack up and get out of there.
Yeah.
And I don't care at all.
We're not in a hurry.
We're in no hurry today. It's only a 9.6 kilometre day, and we've already knocked off about almost, we're getting close to knocking off half of that.
Got time to photograph.
Yeah, Craig's just taking a photograph. So quiet out here. From where I'm standing, looking through some really tall trees and then out to a enormous mountain range with massive flutes of dolomite. It's just fantastic. It's probably two places in the world where I've felt insignificant and small. One of those was Yosemite Valley, Yosemite National Park, and the other one is in parts of this track. When you look around at the magnitude of these ranges and then how they were created. You get a shot, mate?
Done.
take you on a walk for a little while now. Hey Craig, you ready to talk about your issue yet? He's, in case you didn't pick that up, he said he'd rather never talk about it. At some point, you're gonna have to talk to the audience, mate. But let's look at that a bit later, hey mate.
Yeah,
I'll give you a bit more time to simmer down before you tell us what it's all about.
I'm pretty mad. Let's get to the next
Oh, but nobody knows what you're talking about, mate.
Alright.
Okay. We're getting into a bit more technical terrain here, and apart from possibly capturing me falling over, I'm going to switch the recording off now. Maybe talk to you guys later in the day, tonight, who knows, we're just winging it at the moment. See ya. Craig and I are just sitting here making a coffee, and we've just been surrounded by these currawongs. I think they've put the word out that lunch is on.
Yeah, they can definitely smell the coffee.
They're all around us. Look at that one behind, straight behind. See on that branch there? Peeking out.
Stack of them.
Yeah. It's like something from a horror movie.
They're coming in closer.
Maybe that little bird that was spying on us told them
Oh, yeah.
we were on our way to lunch.
He's the point man.
Very good. Anyway, back to coffee.
Short day today. Up early, feeling great. And I've twisted my knee, and I think the ACL on the left leg is pinging every time I walk, and uphill is killing. It adds to the experience, I'll put it that way. But yeah, just hoping I don't slow down too much today. Out. Yeah, just hoping that this pace is going to be alright, because I'm certainly not moving to full speed at the moment. Might be time to have a rest, Savo.
Setting a very nice pace this morning. Heading towards Lake St. Clair. Probably 2.5 hours of hiking to go. It's bittersweet. It's fulfilling to have completed it again. This will be my 3rd time. And 3rd time summiting Ossa as well, which is really lucky considering some people don't get to do it because of bad weather. We kind of snuck it in, even though it was bad weather. There was a bit of fine, almost snow this morning. Just little flakes of ice floating in the air. I thought we were going to get full snow, but unfortunately it didn't happen. There's still time. It's nice and cool today. What you're hearing in the background there is a little bit of footage from when we took the ferry across Lake St. Clair and to our final destination. Welcome back. That was a bit of a recap, wasn't it, Craig?
We just went back to Tasmania.
Yeah, we did. We just went back through all the footage and all of the audio files that we recorded just to put that little package together for you guys. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. There was a few good spots in there, mate.
Yeah.
There was actually a few memorable moments that I'd forgotten already.
Yeah.
What are some of your favourites, mate?
Those icy waters.
That swimming.
Yeah.
That swimming thing was hilarious. And when we were editing just before, Craig said, I don't think that that one of me will be that funny if you're not watching the video. And I said, I beg to differ. And I was nearly crying listening to it without the footage. Spot on.
There was no way I was going to go in the water that day. In my head, there was just no way I was. There's no reason to go swimming in Tasmania, surely. But somehow you convinced me.
You did well. Honestly, I've watched that clip back a few times and nearly cried every time.
That was good fun.
Hey, remember that snippet of the Duquesne hut? And I read that piece about osmiridium.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I just Googled it and it says osmiridium is a popular name for a naturally occurring alloy of the metals iridium and osmium. Corrosion resistant. It is used in the manufacture of a variety of articles from pen nibs to munitions.
Oh, cool.
So there you go. It was a type of metal or alloy that they were down there digging for. And I guess you could say it's quite lucky that they didn't find any of that stuff accessible, or else it could have been ruined a long time before we've got there. Much like the Tasmanian tiger.
Yep, true.
Hey, mate, what happened about your sore knee? Because I completely forgot about that until you played that audio back.
Oh, yeah, it didn't. It wasn't such a big deal. It was at the time, to be honest. I was a bit concerned, but it was pretty good within a day or two. It must have just been a little strain, but yeah, it was really sore at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't even figure how it happened. It was just a twist in the knee, and then it just really hurt.
Good. All right, then.
Don't recommend it.
Don't recommend twisting your knee.
No.
Good advice there, everybody. Mate, and now are you ready to actually talk about the big problem, the big issue of the entire trip? Because I think maybe you need to retract some information for our good listeners.
I'm actually a little bit embarrassed. It's not. It's a big deal, but it's not a big deal.
I don't know if you recommended someone to buy something. It's a big deal.
I know that you. I know you possibly love the fact that I had a lot of trouble with my gear, particularly 2 items, and the biggest problem was my boots, which I've sworn by on many occasions. I thought I was onto something really good, and I'm more than willing now to not recommend them to the extent I used to anyway.
What do you mean? I wouldn't recommend them to a homeless guy.
I know you were going to say that.
Well, let's just put things into perspective. You took them brand new out of the box. You wore them for 3 or 4 days, and the sole came off.
Yeah. Yeah, it was terrible.
Do you recommend it for someone who wants to take it out of the box and sit on their couch and not walk in them?
Probably.
Okay, good. That's good for our demographic.
No, they certainly weren't fit for purpose. I've had 3 pairs of these boots, and they've never done that because I've never put them to this sort of, day after day hiking, I suppose, with those heavy packs on.
But you said an earlier pair was peeling away.
Yeah, but that was after many, many creek trips with, through water and stuff. And
right.
I kind of expect a little bit of that. Not. I don't know why that happened. I think it was the cold, the water, and everything. But I'm not making excuses for them. The gear fell apart.
Yeah,
it was the heel came off, and I was able to stitch it up through the little hoop at the back to pull your boot on.
Yeah,
and it got me through still, but yeah, it was just flapping in the wind. It was terrible.
That was bad. I couldn't believe that.
Glad that we'd done Ossa and got down and laid in the sun and had that nap, and it wasn't even a problem at that stage.
Yeah.
And it was, it didn't spoil anything up till then.
Could have been a lot worse too.
Could have been a lot, that's what I mean.
Yeah. If it was the front coming off, it would have been harder to tie up and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also 2 straps on my low alpine pack gave it in, so...
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Very disappointed in both of those items. But
what was funny to me was you were sitting there talking to this other hiker about how fantastic the boots are, and you both have had them ripped to pieces.
Yeah,
but you're still telling each other how good they are.
We still love them.
Oh my goodness!
Oh man, no. Look, I don't know if I am the only person who wears 510 boots. I may be, but
well, you will be now.
Possibly
once this news gets out. No,
there's something about the rubber. The way it grips, but you still got to have durability. So,
yeah. On a serious note, Craig did recommend them in a previous podcast as, when we were talking about gear that we use. So,
yeah, that's why I want to make
it
clear that it didn't quite live up to it for this trip, and I'm now on my way to get a new pair of Salomons.
Good choice. I know someone with a pair of them and the sole's never fallen off.
Yeah, I've got my old ones. They haven't fallen apart either. I should have just taken them.
Yes. Oh, all is well that ends well. Thanks for joining us on that journey, guys. It was a cracker, and as I said, it was really good to watch some of that footage back and then listen to those audio files again.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging in for an absolutely huge marathon podcast, but we are kind of making up 2 months and giving back to you. Take it easy. We'll talk to you soon. Not in 2 months. It'll be sooner, I promise.
See you later, guys.
See ya. Bye. If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, we'd really appreciate your ratings and comments if you can spare the time. If you'd like to know more about HikeordieTV and keep track of our adventures around Australia, make sure you drop by Hikeordie.com. That's where you'll find all the information you'll need to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or Pinterest. As always, we appreciate your support. Thanks for listening.